say she lied to you. You're a liar. You're a lying, sick, lying freak. Steven Crowder, who of course has been in a feud with a black woman named Candace Owens, came out with a diatribe. Check this out. He says this: she lied to you. She said you were going to die for Israel. She said Trump was owned by Netanyahu. She told the American soldiers to desert and get a dishonorable discharge. She lied to you. I'm really glad that Steven, who of course is an old colleague from Blaze TV and used to go on a show a lot back in the day, has decided that apparently all of Candace Owens' warnings about Israel are false. Because as Trump said, we secured a peace deal. It's the greatest peace deal ever. And it really worked, right? That's what we saw. It worked. The Iranians stopped being mad. Arabs stopped worshiping Muhammad. They stopped raping their cousins and stuff like that. We were very proud, very happy about that. And on top of that, the Israelis just put their arms down. Like, you know what? You hear it's like Bernie Sanders' voice. We don't want to live here anymore, okay? And they put their guns down. And they're not doing fractional reserve banking and ruining the world's economies and make people mad at them anymore. So that's really good news. We are living in a really weird world where there's basically two groups of people. There is the right wing, which are people that rightfully know that there's an infiltration in our government across the board, from lobbyists as well as dual citizen politicians and evangelicals with poor theology that have locked us into some sort of a soul tie with a foreign entity that is basically allowed neoconservatism to destroy our birthright. We have given up our destiny that now we have an Islamic communist that is about to run New York City, a $100 billion war chest. But of course they say, no, don't worry about that. Remember, we don't like talking about Muslims being in charge, but it's the other Semites that we like to have in power. I think they're both terrible. Maybe if they both weren't around, our countries would be better. But anyway, we're talking about that beef. Plus, a Christian was crucified. A pastor in 2021 in a Western country was crucified by one of those people that are lobbying our government. That's actually kind of crazy. An 18-month-old was attacked as well in these crazy acts of violence. Plus, we have more developments and details coming up about Iran, Israel, and what Trump has to say. We're talking about this and so much more here on another live episode of The Rift, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's start the show. Damn. That was my Hodge Twins impression. They're supposed to be coming on a little bit later in the show today. My guests will be introduced around the 7:30 p.m. Eastern time mark. But right now, in the studio with me today is a smaller team, but the best team. I'm talking about my decoy guest today. Tell us who you are, why you're here.
Appreciate the introduction. My name's Michael Hennessy. I'm from Snowflake_news on Instagram as well as X, and also contributing here on The Rift.
Yes, and of course, back behind the production desk, the man, the myth, the legend of the Mendoza Report. Who are you?
I was muted for a time there, but I'm not now. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Mendoza JPG or on Instagram, but I prefer Twitter, I think. So just follow me there, and looking forward to the episode.
Okay, yeah, so we got a lot to talk about. So a couple updates, right? You guys know you're new to The Rift. We're live on Rumble. We're live on YouTube and on X. Plus, of course, we're there on Locals. We have an exclusive Locals-only segment at the end of the show, so make sure you sign up at ElijahSchaefer.locals.com. But I'm proud to announce that after only 14 days of starting the show and YouTube channel, we are now monetized on YouTube, which means you should be able to send super chats. So I just wanted to dare you. I dare you to send some of your money to us. Prove to us that you have it. How do I know you have money? How do I know you can flex if you don't send a super chat? And by the way, for the first $100 super chat, remember, if you send $100, you get your super chat printed and put on our wall, which is does nothing for you. It's like when Rebel News, Ezra Levant said he would lose weight if you sent him money, and the win is that if you give him money, he loses weight. It was a very, 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 very Jewish of him. All right, let's talk about this. So there's this riff running in the right wing where you have a lot of the old guard. They call them, some people call them conservative ink. I call them my old friends. And these people who are, really holding on to this notion that to be America first, you cannot be against Israel. It's a very, very contentious topic. I'd say it's a sensitive one. It's like, there are sensitive areas to shave, right? There are non-sensitive areas. This is the kind of area that you got to be close. You can't use the clippers too close to the hair. You got to put on a little bit of a trimmer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you could definitely see division right now, especially. I mean, this has been exposing with everything that happened in Iran, everything that's been going on with, just Israel in general. It's really starting to make that rift, so you can see who is being paid, influenced, who's just trying to follow, the neocon type of ideology, and then the others who are stepping forward, like, here at Rift, where we're going to tell the truth unapologetically and make sure that we're getting the message out there, regardless of how many times they come after us, because they definitely do come after us.
Yeah, okay, so let's just jump into this. But we have a couple super chats. Ladies and gentlemen, first super chat ever on YouTube from Steve DeMario from Canada too, damn it. The Canadians beat you to it. $10 from Canada, which is officially at 45 cents in the United States with their currencies lost its value, said, thank you guys for covering the crucifixion story. Grats on the monetization. Yeah, appreciate that. Also, on Rumble, actually, we got a $100 super chat. Let's go. Let's get a little bit of a... I would strip today. But I just moved and I can't. I'll strip later. I will strip another day. We will do it. $100. Hell yeah.
Let's go.
It's going to be a damn good show. That's what it says on there. Homer J. Fuentes in the chat. Let's go. We got 2 super chats right off the bat. And let's talk about this. So I think a lot of times money does corrupt people. And Steven Crowder, Gerald, all you guys, you've said I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not popular enough. I don't have enough followers because there's always these stunts are about getting followers and stuff like that. We're just not cool enough. Or I'm not black enough. They, really have taken this pro-Israel side of things. And I love that they act like everybody who's warning about Israel is lying as if like Israel went away. And it's like, the saga's over, folks. Israel's closed for service. You know what I mean? We did it. We beat them. We won. It's like, hey, by the way, our warnings about Israel are about because, hey, they've been saying that they've been trying to do this Iran stuff for like 30 years. We know about this. Stephen comes out and says, by the way, everybody out there, he insinuates, is getting paid to do this. This is the new thing. Everybody's getting paid. Laura Loomer even texted me, said that everybody's getting paid or DM me. I don't have any problems with her. I like Laura. But then, I asked her who's getting paid, couldn't give me a name. I said, name 12 people. If they're all doing it, give me 12, right?
Give 3. Give 4. Give something.
Give me a dozen.
Yeah.
But we're all getting the money. So listen to this.
So-and-so said over and over again that President Trump would send you to die for Israel, for the Jews. I'm reading her actual ex-post. Get ready, white American men. It's time for you to go die for Israel again. If you don't want to die for Israel, then you are an anti-Semite. Sign up to die in Iran for Netanyahu today, or just admit you hate Jews. Here's another one. They tried to redefine anti-Semitism, criminalize criticism of Israel on college campuses. Not true. Most crucially, seed the idea that the declaration of Christ as our king amounted to hatred against Jews. Also not accurate. All of this was done in preparation for the Greater Israel agenda, regarding which they attempted to emotionally manipulate Americans to accept. The conspiracy theorists were right again. It was always about a planned war with Iran and a doomed, heretical belief that mass slaughter of women and children is messianic. Let me read that again. It was always about a planned war. Where's the planned war?
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. This wasn't presented as an opinion.
Yeah, let's fight against Zionism. Let's bring on a fat guy. It is kind of what that was kind of funny. It was like, they're all liars. Now follow our side. Where was that? Boom. No, I feel bad too. Cause I mean, look, dude, quarterback Garrett's gone downhill since the last time I saw him, right? That's rough. This guy's just lying through his teeth. And I actually said this cause they've accused me of saying stuff online recently. And I always respond back like, hey, why don't you have people on your show? He does later invite people on a show that he called out. You will know that one name is obviously coincidentally left out of the challenge here, which would be Nicholas Fuentes, of course, because no one wants to debate that guy because they don't want to debate him. Now, why? It's because they're afraid of their money getting taken, right? That's really what it is. It's because you're afraid of getting strikes, of losing the value, or of people looking dumb. But we don't need to worry about money because we have super chatters like Punished Mav who sent in $2. $2 on YouTube. This is what Jews, you can't control us. We've got Punished Mav who says Jesus Christ is King. Hail Christ. No, I'm kidding.
Christ is King.
Well, I'm not kidding. It's Christ, but I'm saying it's just that's a joke, everybody.
Yeah.
But it is funny because he's going. this greater Israel project, this isn't true. This isn't true. This is true. Netanyahu has spoken about this through his own voice in front of the UN. And why I think anti-Semitism is on the rise, or why this criticism of Israel is growing on the right. We're going to look at a video of I think, Moskowitz, or the congressman warning about, how the right wing is becoming anti-Israel. One of the reasons why I think young people are becoming anti-Israel is the same reason they've always been anti-authoritarian, anti-establishment, is like, when you can tell people are lying, like when you can see that Crowder here is just like shilling for an establishment, an institution, a country, and you can watch the videos, you can see that Candace is not lying, and you can see that Crowder's like holding on to this sort of like Gen X boomer audience of people who are maybe uneducated or not deeply read or well learned when it comes to this topic. You can just tell he's lying, and you can research it yourself, and people start to go, you know what? Why are people lying for this country? Why are people defend this country? They've got to be doing something for us. And then you look at it and you realize they're not doing anything for us. So then they must be doing something for him.
Yeah.
And you're going, well, what do they do for you? And the truth is that what do they do for you? I can tell you. We used to work for the same company. It's like, what they do for you is they guarantee you, contracts, money, advertisers, right? It's a safety. It's a weak position to take, because you act like you're on the moral high ground, but in fact, you have the entire institution with you. And then they point to us and they go, oh, no, actually, it's all, the actors and everybody's for Palestine. Everybody's against, the Jews. And you go, buddy, that's just not correct. That's not correct, okay? That is not correct. I can tell you there's one group of people you cannot criticize, one group of people that you cannot attack, one group of people that you cannot go after. And you don't even have to be against Israel to know that, right?
Yep.
Even the people, even famous Jews know, hey, we're in control, we're in power. The dildo guy.
Yeah, I mean, they even asked, they had, it was Thomas Massey who was on Theo Von just the other day, and they asked him, what does Israel do for us? And he was like, well, they create more enemies for us. And that's really what we've seen all across the Middle East. They've been dragging us into these wars. For Crowder to come out and say that, this is not planned, the war wasn't planned. I mean, Israel's been trying to get us in war with Iran for the longest time now. We've seen things like that in the Bush administration. We've seen it in other administrations where they had this big push for us to go ahead and pretty much clear a path. So this way we can change the leadership in each country and they can have more of a grasp on it so they can control it easier. And just like you mentioned, the reason that they're doing this is not because Israel's doing great things for us. It's because they're getting their pockets full of cash. They're being pushed more on platforms because of their stance to stand with Israel. And the one thing Israel does is not only does it pay you off, but it also has a habit of attacking you. So if you go against whatever kind of message that they're trying to spread, if you say you're against war, if you say you're against them being, our greatest ally, what they'll do is they'll try to destroy you. So it's like either take the money or we'll destroy you. I mean, since I've been working with you, we've already had a few incidents where they went out and they've reached out to our different kind of contacts
yeah, in
and
the industry.
Everything. Yeah, so that's really what it comes down to.
It just happened this week.
Yeah.
It just happened. By the way, the last guy who went after us here is named Jordan Satachel, right? He came after me recently, earlier this year, to try to undermine my working relationships. Now, Jordan, by the way, I was asked, to not say anything negative about him publicly for the sake of peace. So I won't say anything negative. However, I will tell you this. You could do an early life check on him on Wikipedia, and you wouldn't be shocked. And also, if you go look him up on X, you'll find undercover videos, sort of like what's that? What's that? Was the organization OMG style, where they caught him talking about how he worked for the Israeli government and used to run fake online support groups on Facebook and different organizations to psyop and raise support for the Israeli state. And so it's always interesting that, when I look at the people that are attacking me or trying to undermine me, it's like this guy has a history of being a former Fed for the Israeli state. These are these sort of dual citizenship, dual allegiance individuals. Mm-hmm. And, so I'm not surprised, right? Because you can't serve two masters. You either serve God or you serve money. And that's why everyone thinks it's about dual allegiance. It's dual passports. You either serve Israel or you serve America. And that's not the truth. It's not about whether you serve one country or the other. It's that you can only serve God or money. And if you serve God, then you're going to follow the Lord God with your heart, mind, soul, and strength. You lean not on your own understanding. You acknowledge him in all of your ways, and what? He directs your path. But if you serve money, then AIPAC directs your path. If you serve money, then lobbyists and independent families and donors, gambling families will direct your path. It's a spiritual sickness, but most importantly, it's a matter of allegiance. And people that are willing to sell out their own countrymen, people that are willing to self-identify in a way to make themselves look good, right? They have the appearance of godliness. We were warned about there's many people, but they deny the power there within. So they look like they're the better guys. And then listen to this. Most of our politicians are midwits, okay? They're actually not that smart, because if you think about it, what is a politician's job? It's somebody who's willing to make shady deals, okay? And willing to be bought for money. These are not great individuals. You don't find a lot of quality politicians, right? There's some quality racks on politicians we found out recently. That's true. And by racks, I don't mean what you're thinking. I'm talking about
that Qatari money.
No, the Benjamins from a man named Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, you get some Benjamins from Benjamin. But jokes aside, no, I'm just about Nancy Mace constantly taking shirtless pics. Very bizarre. Why? Am I complaining? No, but it is an odd thing that she does. Maskowitz, Representative Maskowitz came out, and now he's adopting this phrase, the woke right, from do you see Konstantin Kisin was like sliding James Lindsay, being like, well, James and I technically came up with that phrase at the same time.
No, I missed that one.
But, he's popularized it a little bit, and it's like, it's kind of like a competition for like who's the smartest retarded person.
Well, we'll wear the name like a badge of honor. A lot of the names that they're coming out with nowadays, I could really care less. Anytime they say something like that, it just makes me be like, okay, I'm heading in the right direction, because I'm not just molding to whatever the establishment wants to be. And as you mentioned, a lot of these people, what they did is they sold their souls. They're just following the money. And I'm not saying all of them started out that way. I believe a lot of the individuals did have a plan to try to get the truth out there, like me and yourself, where we just wanted to go out. We wanted to make sure that everybody was getting, the real story of what's going on. But then along the way, unfortunately, they found greed. They found that, money, it's an easy victory for them, an easy way to satisfy themselves versus, the actual thing what we have is a spiritual battle on this earth.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to play this clip from Maskowitz. But before we do that, I'm going to remind you guys, don't forget that this channel, we're sponsored by amazing companies. One of these companies aligns with our values. They are a quality product company. I'm talking about Van Man. I brought this new vial today. Many of you guys know I always have their beef tallow balm with honey and essential oils. It's like all natural products, nothing synthetic. There's no weird chemicals you can't pronounce. This stuff is good for the whole family, keeps your skin moisturized, can use it on your lips when you're going out in the sun. But I wanted to talk to you guys about this, which I had in my house all the time, which is their tallow and zinc sunblock. And the reason why I want to talk to you about this is because I found out that, a lot of sunscreen, it protects you a little too much. You need to get that little bit of that glow. You need to get a little bit of sun, but also on top of that, a lot of these weird sunscreens are made with carcinogens, things that actually cause cancer. And really, God made natural elements that can keep your skin protected from being burned, but still give you that sun exposure you need in order to adapt to the sun. That's why I use this specifically. This product right here, it's called the Zinc and Tallow Sunblock. Make sure that you check it out from Van Man. Now, one of the main things that we got to talk about this one is that when you use it, can we mute them, please, on the thing there? Just go ahead and mute them on the channel.
I'm trying to find them.
Yeah. Just mute them on the.
Got it.
Yeah, thank you. Those are my good friends, Zinc and Tallow. They're who we make the sunblock from. But make sure you check it out, 10% off at vanman.shop, vanman.shop/ELIJAH. Use promo code Elijah for 10% off. Again, vanman.shop/Elijah. Grab this because it has nothing bad in it for you. It's all products, including their sunscreen, their tooth powder, and their deodorant. It's amazing stuff. In just a few minutes, we will have some black people on the show so that we can say more things that we want to. But before we do that, go ahead and check this out. This is a video of a representative bringing up the woke right. Watch.
There is one thing that is uniting the left and the right, and that is Jews. This is not just a problem on the left. Go look what's going on social media on the woke right. It isn't just some Nazis in a basement anymore, okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene is holding up the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act because she wants to be able to say that Jews killed Jesus. So this is a problem in both of our houses, and pretending it is not is one of the reasons why we're not cleaning it up. Because we're just saying, oh, you over there or you over there. this is not going well for Jews right now. And it isn't getting better, by the way. We have not yet peaked to where this is going to go. And yeah, we can talk about the legacy media all day long, Mr. Schneider, but that's not where we're losing the youth of this country. We're losing them on TikTok, which is owned by a foreign country, that the president now has extended beyond what the law has allowed. I don't want TikTok to go away, but I want it to get out of the hands of the Chinese, okay? They are doing the Nazi playbook. They are dividing us. They are fomenting. They don't need to do it with B-2 bombers. That's not what the Chinese plan is. The Chinese is to get us to fighting amongst ourselves. The Chinese plan is to get us angry and divisive. And the Chinese plan is to start with the easiest target possible, and that is us. And so until we stop doing this, who did what to who stuff, okay, we're not going to solve this. Jews are losing their usual allies, those allies that we've had for decades and decades and decades, groups that Jews have stood up for. We're losing them by the moment, especially amongst young people. So, I'm called a foreign asset, right? That I'm a foreign lobbyist. I mean, it's just endless. Go look, any post I put up, the hatred, the vitriol that's going on. And so I appreciate this hearing, Mr. Chairman, but this hearing ain't going to fix shit. Okay? This is a virus that is spreading. And until we're serious about stopping what's going on online and the brainwashing of our kids, this is going to get worse and more people are going to die in this country. And it is going to be us.
If you're just tuning in here, we have the Hodge Twins coming on in just a couple minutes here to talk about some of this this woke writer making it into the Congress, and we have Steven Crowder calling us all liars. What's kind of funny about this is that he literally, I don't know what he's talking about. He's like, there's one thing that unites all of us, and it's Jews. And it's like, okay, so what are you saying? Are you saying that involved in all of the problems that everyone has with everything on either side, you guys are involved? Because that sounds a little anti-Semitic to me. Am I right? You're saying that no matter what political spectrum you're on, you have your problems you're trying to solve, and then you keep finding that the issue is Jewish people. I'm not making that claim. Why would I ever say something like that? That is evil. But I would say sometimes people tell on themselves, and I find that to be just like an ironic thing that he's like, and then you have the people are mean to me on the social media. Yep, buddy. Hey, bud. You ever went online before? It's a brutal place, sir. It's not for the faint of heart. And then he even goes even further to like, China's the one who are making us hate Jews. Really, China? Okay? So Jewish people are doing nothing to make people hate them. Good to know. We all learned something new.
It's China's behind everybody being mad at Jews,
That's crazy.
Darn China. And then he also brought up TikTok. One thing I could always say, anytime these politicians decide to come together on something is usually involving Israel. And I remember when the whole TikTok ban came out, they're like, they're trying to steal our information. They're trying to gather from different senators and congressmen, off their phones, the information. And that wasn't the case. What the case was, they were starting to get stories about Palestine. They were starting to get stories about, against Israel. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to come together and shut it down immediately. I mean, that was the real reason why. So they realized that, nobody was falling for that. So now it's just like, oh, well, China's using, TikTok to get the Jews, that they're separating us this way. And that's not the case at all. So the more you hear stuff like this, the more ridiculous it gets.
Yeah, but my favorite part about him, too, these people are such victims. By people, what am I talking about? Congressmen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these government officials are such victims. This is why, again, I think a lot of unfortunate anti-Semitic activity is increasing with young people too, because when someone complains a lot about, everybody doesn't like us, and you're a problem for not liking us, but not explain, well, why don't you address the problems? You know what I mean? And like I said, one of the problems is the dishonesty. A lot of these things, kind of like we saw with the graves of the indigenous kids in Canada. Remember how there was, several dozen churches burned to the ground because of this outcry over the abuse from elders to indigenous people. And then they did sonar ground testing, and they never found human remains. And there was actually no mass graves of indigenous people. And it was just a story made up to stoke anti-Christian rhetoric in Canada. We saw this in Australia too, right? You had this, they had the same narrative in Australia about, kidnapping children. It's an anti-white narrative. What actually happened was that dads were molesting and beating their children. And the missionaries ended up creating like orphanages and adoption centers and trying to save the kids from abuse because we are civilizing them. And it's like, hey, you can't molest your kids. That's a hard ask for an Aboriginal, but it's the least we could do. You know what I mean? Let's start there, sir. He's like, oh yeah, I can't do that. No, you can't. Why they end up getting bogan Australian accents, I don't know why they all did, but they do sound like that. And then they were actually rescuing kids, and then they have this whole like the kidnapped child generation, a generation of kids taken from their parents. Like, oh, God forbid we try to prevent children from being sexually abused and beaten physically as well. And, a lot of this demonization happens of people who are trying to do what's right, and then you get a lot of victimization and protection of people who are doing things wrong. And I think that the main problem with this whole, Crowder saying that Candace lied, everybody lied, is that what did we lie about? What are we lying about? Mm-hmm. Are we lying about the fact? What interest does it have for the United States to have an unarmed Iran? They don't even have an ICBM delivery system to get a nuclear warhead into our country. And even Trump, they go, well, Trump's been saying on his platform since the very beginning he wanted to disarm Iran. What did he say when he was in that golden escalator and he goes down, he announces his plans? He said they could wipe who off the map? Israel off the map, not the United States. And a lot of us are asking the question of, okay, well, not that we want Israel wiped off the map, but if Israel is wiped off the map, what does that really do to our country? How does that benefit us? How do all the thousands of dead U.S. soldiers, how do all of the trillions of dollars of lost money in our battles, how does 30 years of poor strategic international policy and foreign policy affect our birthright? We've been gutted by the banks. We've been gutted by these aristocratic, globalist, international bankers who all happen to usually be of a similar, ethnic heritage. But we have these same people at home who are doing this to us. And instead of focusing on our issues, they flood us with non-white immigrants. They flood our countries like we saw in New York, right? Where it's like, non-white immigration is directly what led to the election of a Muslim communist. We have, 80% of Asian and Arab voters are what voted for him, right? And we've tripled those immigration numbers since the 1980s. Without the new immigration numbers, he wouldn't have been elected. We're seeing real impacts of changing demographics that are leading to far left, anti-American, anti-constitutional activities in our country. But instead of focusing on fixing those issues and fixing our borders, we're focused on protecting Tel Aviv. And I think that's where a lot of people are mad. And you know what? A lot of people are angry because you got to at some point ask, if everyone in the world hates you left or right, I got kicked out of a restaurant in LA.
Yeah, you did.
I got kicked out of a
Yeah,
restaurant.
you did.
But if I got kicked out of, 60, 70 or more restaurants,
109 maybe.
Maybe that. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd be 161, including
161.
principalities and territories.
There you go. Yeah.
But maybe I'm the problem. And I really wish that people would just start being honest, because it's the gaslighting that makes people frustrated. It's what makes me angry. And when Crowder takes the defense of these people, and instead of actually, taking a stand and saying, people are rightfully angry, they don't like what's going on, he instead attacks the people who are trying to warn people of what's actually happening. It's just so tiring. I don't have a stomach for 2018 political theater.
No, either do I. And a lot of it is to do with a campaign that they're pushing. I know we have a video we'll end up playing a little bit where Candace Owens actually putting out a bounty because she believes that, they have a campaign right now where they're having all these different kinds of influencers, micro-influencers, whatever you want to call them, to attack her, to try to defame her. And, I believe that is the case 100%. A lot of these people, even the messages that they write on Instagram or X, it's just like an echo chamber of the same exact kind of comments. So, I am getting sick and tired of it. I think though the good thing is the American people are getting sick and tired of it. New studies show that 60% of people don't want anything to do with Iran. A lot of these people now are starting to pull away from Israel's control on us. I mean, really the only people who are still falling for this are like the baby boomers and the older generation who just go, they don't care. They'll just follow endlessly. But yeah, they have a habit of trying to change the narrative. They don't want to put America first. It's the last thing that they want to do. And we see that. We see it as our country crumbles, but yet we send billions of dollars over there. You know, we want to have strong families to take care of, but yet we want to send them to war for another country. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and we'll be right back. We're going to be connecting with the Hodge Twins here in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. Give us about 2 or 3 minutes here. We'll be right back with the Hodge Twins to talk more about this. They'll be joining us in the studio. We're linking them in, talking about what's going on with Crowder. Stick around and enjoy the chat. We'll read the super chats. We'll be back with the Hodge Twins. We'll see you in a moment. We have a good news because these aren't our normal, typical blacks. These are Qatari paid blacks, right? These are people who've gotten a lot of money from very important people. I'd like to welcome to the show the Hodge Twins, straight from Doha. Welcome to the show, guys.
It's the Hadi Twins. Yeah, Hadi Twins.
Wait, it's the
I was gonna wear my.
It's Hadi?
Was gonna wear Hadi Twins. I was gonna wear my turban, but I think it was a little bit too fast, you know.
Dude, you know what's crazy too is I actually liked the name. You know, you guys might need a rebrand. Hodge Twins have been around for a long time, but the world's getting more multicultural. They sort of like you guys would fit in New York today. You know, they love Muslims.
Yeah, they love terrorists out there.
Oh yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? When we grew out our beards, we started getting checked more heavily when we went to the airport. Yeah.
Well, the weird part is, well, which one of you guys liked it? I feel like one of you kept saying, "Hey, let's keep these beards," because every time they touched you, you were like, "This isn't so bad." You usually have to pay for that, you know. Let me ask you guys.
I never had to pay for it.
Well, okay, let's talk about this case. So you guys, I want to talk about 2 things. So you guys used to go on Crowder's show all the time, and then you guys, how's your relationship with Crowder? I mean, what's that like these days?
I haven't talked to him in a while, but we haven't been very, very. I mean, we're friends, we're colleagues, but we haven't talked to him in a while. I mean, we haven't been that close, but we used to be on the show from time to time. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm actually closer to his dad than actual Steven Crowder.
So you're friends with Steven Crowder, not Steven Crowder?
No, his dad.
Is this dad's name Steven?
Yeah. It was his dad. It's Darren Crowder. It's Darren Crowder.
Oh, Darren. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So Steven came out and he basically said that all the people, I don't think he named you guys directly, but he was saying that basically Candace, Tucker, he didn't mention Fuentes by name. I don't think he mentioned you guys, but he said everybody who's warning people about Israel, everybody who's warning people about Netanyahu trying to bring, America into wars, that we are all liars. He called us all liars and challenged us to show our financials and prove we're not taking money from foreign interest groups and not being paid. You guys have been accused recently of being paid, to say the least. I got to ask you, are you guys getting paid by Qatar? How are you guys making your money these days?
Yeah, I got a jet. They gave us a jet. It wasn't as nice as Trump's, but it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those 2-seater ones. It's like
I mean, it's not like these things that we say about Israel is false. I mean, look at the Iraq War. That's the reason why we went to war, because of bad intelligence by who? The Jews. Yeah. I just don't like all the influence like the Israel government has over. That's a foreign nation. They shouldn't have any influence over us. Yeah, and it's been that way for years, and that's all. That's the only thing we're speaking out against. I mean, you cannot be American first if there's other countries that has that much of an influence, an impact on your government. Yeah, that's what I'm totally against. They have so much impact over our government that if you don't support Israel, if you don't get AIPAC funding, you can't. It's very difficult to get elected in this country. Yeah, that's a huge red flag.
Almost impossible. Which is, by the way, the new Democrat mayor, right? In what's his name, Mamdani?
Zohan or something. I forget his name. It's
Zoran Mamdani.
It's Soleimani. Soleimani.
His name's something like Abdul de Baghdad. I don't know. Osama bin Laden's nephew is now going to be the probable mayor. A lot of people, though, a lot of people on the right are saying that, a bunch of young Gen Z people voted for him because he wasn't backed by AIPAC. And he's the only one who stood on stage. You see that? Where all the mayors, that's crazy. All the mayors were asked what trip they would take right after being elected mayor. And every single one of them said Israel. Even one guy said he would go for his 4th time to Israel. And Imam Dani was the only one who said he would stay in New York. And they're saying a lot of young people voted for him because they hate Israel. I don't know if you think that's true.
Yeah, I think majority of this country is against Israel.
Yeah.
We know Democrats are totally against them. Well, their voter bases anyway.
Mhm.
And you can see this rift between fake MAGA and real MAGA, supposedly, that it's not real strong support from the Republican side either.
Yeah.
And I think Trump wasn't really aware of that. I'm sure he's seeing what's going on with his constituency.
Yeah.
There's a total rift between Republican voters right now.
We finna find out how much influence Israel has over our elections, because if he's not taking money from AIPAC, Soleimani, whoever his damn name is, Eric Adams is he's probably gonna get a huge donation to Eric Adams.
Yeah, well, dude, you saw what happened to Brandon Herrera, right, down in Texas. He was about to win, and then they primaried him from his own party, and they ended up what, giving a few $1 million, exactly $6 million, they said, to the cent. You know, not a dollar more, not a dollar less, to make sure he didn't win. And no one understands that AIPAC. The reason why they're so powerful is because they fund both sides. When everyone says the uniparty, the uniparty means that AIPAC ensures that anyone who runs will be pro-war. They don't care if you're pro-abortion or anti-abortion. They don't give a shit if Roe v. Wade gets overturned. What they care about is that when they want to drop bombs on Tehran, that the bombs are dropped. Do you think Trump's controlled by AIPAC? Do you think he's controlled by this kind of money?
Oh, most definitely. Oh, you damn right. I think that whole thing that's going on in Iran, him bombing, I think that's a political favor he did for Netanyahu, because Bibi Netanyahu got him elected. Yeah, how much money did Trump get for this past election? It was over 100 million.
250, somewhere over $250 million. I know that he got private donations.
Yeah, Bibi Netanyahu wants some payback. I gave you $200 million.
Yeah, but I mean, and by the way, it's probably more than that too, because you know, people also talk about the fact that, like, what about all the money that went to his cabinet, right? Their administration. So it's like if you combine like Cruz and Rubio and the rest of the Republicans, they can donate even more money. So we could be talking about like billion plus dollars put into the pockets of Republicans and guarantee that they're able to run. And this is what I want to hear from you. Look, Crowder's my old colleague at Blaze. I've been on his show many times. We've never worn a dress together, but dresses have been worn. It's okay.
That son of a bitch made me wear blackface. I said, they was putting the blackface on me, right? I was like, dude, is the lipstick necessary?
Yeah, they put red lipstick on.
I said, you're doing a little too much. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable.
You know what? And the worst part was because you guys were naked, and that didn't even make you uncomfortable. But it's like, you know, the blackface situation. No, but so Crowder gets a lot of shit. I feel like Crowder has made him a lot of enemies. I feel really bad about his ex-wife situation. That sucks when your personal life gets put on blast. I've had that happen before too.
Yeah, I hated to hear about that.
Yeah. It's super gay. I'm not in support of it. But I do feel like they do shill, like they're still like stuck in this old school conservative mindset, and they haven't evolved to really see what's going on. And I don't know, is it Gerald? Is it Stephen? Because I like them all, but it seems like they still have this like pro-Israel old school mindset.
Well, they're big time Christians. They are Christians. They are evangelicals, and I think that's their Achilles heel, because, you know, being Christian, you're taught. I mean, it's in Genesis that the Jews are God's chosen people, and I think that may be what has a lot to do with it. Because I've been around him for years, and he's a very objective and intelligent guy. Everybody he employs there is that. I think that's like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz said it himself. I think they're coming from that angle on it. They which when you hear someone say that, they're so disingenuous, because that happened over 3,500 years ago. Definitely, it's in the Bible. It's in Genesis, but he wasn't talking about modern Israel. And people take that out of context, and it's just so disingenuous when anybody says that they're God's chosen people. It's just like, intellectually, you're just dishonest, because that's just a lazy argument. Oh, we God's chosen people. No, you're not. He never picked any group of people to be his chosen people. And besides, since all that went down in the Bible, they don't even follow Christianity. It's more like a pagan made up religion.
Yeah, their country.
Yeah.
It's like
they don't even recognize Jesus as their God.
Yeah.
You know? It's just all bullshit.
They have the Kabbalah. I have a Kabbalah training center near me, and they think they can levitate and stuff, which is like actually it's kind of true. Some people say the B-2 bombers are actually not controlled by air fuel. They're actually controlled by rabbis who all get together and they keep them floating in the sky. But I wouldn't
believe it.
It's like I believe it too. But I think
Yahoo's got a little remote control of this shit.
Hey, yeah, it's like, hey, you don't think it's like, I know they're like, Netanyahu doesn't control Trump. It's like, but he does control our B-2 bombers. He's just making them fly all over the place.
Yeah, do you remember that meme Trump posted? It's going to turn the Gaza Strip into like
with
like
the transgenders dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
I think he was serious.
That was tone deaf like a motherfucker. And he had his Trump hotel. It was like because he had all these kids walk around that was homeless, bombed out of homes, and then he turned into this oasis. Didn't he have like a Trump hotel there?
Yeah, they had a Trump hotel.
And cross-dressing Arabs with like boob jobs.
Yeah, but that's a Jewish thing. They're really into that.
Yeah, there's like what,
there's like
6 to 10 genders? There's like six or the whole gender theory comes from the Talmud. Like it's there,
and he's sitting there in lawn chairs with Baby Net, whatever the hell his name is. Now, I thought that when I saw that, it actually pissed me off.
Yeah,
because I think what's going on in that area is a genocide. It's ethnic cleansing, and for him to post that, I was like, why would you post that?
And when you look at the satellite photos, it looked like something out of a movie. It looked apocalyptic, and if that meme he came out of Trump hotels and this paradise, I was like I don't think he was joking, because when you really look at it, Gaza Strip and West Bank, that's some of the most beautiful real estate in the world, and it's holy. And I think
he wants a Trump hotel.
He wants a Trump hotel, and Netanyahu wants all those people gone. Because when he said he was going to take all the Palestinians, and move them somewhere else and give them their own land, I think he's serious as a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, they destroyed Rafah. They destroyed Rafah. If you look at this, it's actually, I saw this girl. I want to hit on this here. I know you guys. This is the video right here. This girl posted that Iran hit a hospital in Beersheba or something like that near Tel Aviv.
Oh yeah.
She goes, isn't that a war crime? And I go, yeah. Israel destroyed 36 hospitals in Gaza, including Christian hospitals. It's like everyone's like watching Israel get bombed. And here's what I thought was crazy. Nobody cared besides our politicians that Israel was being bombed. Like everyone's like, well, I mean, you guys, this is what happens when you spend years killing civilians and you tell us that it's funny and it's good and you make jokes like this. I think that the people's patience for Israel, even the civilians, has run thin, and people are like, hey, you're on your own. We don't really care what happens to you.
Yeah. Right. I could care less about Israel. It has nothing to do with like we didn't like a lot of the people that's in MAGA, they're like, no more fun in new wars. Take all the fun away from Ukraine. But then you say, take all the fun away from Israel, no more new wars, and then you're anti-Semitic. It's like
you're not MAGA.
Hypocrites.
Yeah, you're not MAGA.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this:
just hypocrisy.
Yeah, I know. Just a couple more questions here for you guys, as I know that you guys have so much to do tonight. There's a lot to do. You got to go on and talk about Jews on X. You got to talk about Jews on Instagram. You've got to talk about Jews on TikTok, but not on Facebook though. On Facebook, you're gonna go support the Jews because.
That's what people are saying. I got a person I'm training because a lot of people don't know that we probably work, me and my brother, we probably work 16 hours a day. So I pay people because when you boil things down, when you look at the Hodge Twins, the brand, we are a media company. So I have people helping me on Twitter because all day I'm posting on Facebook, all day I'm posting on YouTube. I mean, it's just too much for two men to handle. So if I want to hire somebody, contract somebody to help me get out the MAGA message, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but they said we're lazy now.
They said that because we're black.
Yeah, and that's no one said it's untrue, but it's like, but it's work smarter, not harder. I mean, the reality is like I've seen what you guys do and how you guys work. And look, the thing is with some of the stuff, it's happened to me too, man. Like one time I said something and I was like, anybody who's saying that the Patriot Front are all feds is lying to you. And then someone pulled up a post of mine that was like, don't follow the feds, follow the government or something. And it was like something my intern had posted like 2 years ago. And you're like, and then everyone's like, so, you know, so what do you say? And you go, hey, you know, we've got over a dozen employees here. We produce several different shows. You know, there's a lot of people working on things. Sometimes people are just going to post stupid stuff or like randomly get it wrong, because you'll get some like really young intern who's like kind of basic, and you're not going to discriminate. And you don't, it's not like, hey, you got to hate Israel to work here, you know? So it's like, they might not have the same, you know, viewpoints. And then they post some conning, you know, magatard stuff. And then, you know, you like any job, if someone put the wrong price on an item in a grocery store, you might just say, hey, like, yo, you know, just because they mispriced the banana for $50, I'm not going to charge you $50. You just make a change. I think you guys got a lot of shit for that. And everyone was saying it was proof you guys were like bought and sold. But I don't know, how'd you guys handle that?
Grifters. They said we're grifters.
Yeah, I think when that whole debacle went down, I was like, man, you really find out who your true supporters are. And people telling themselves, like, a lot of people don't know it, but when something bad happens, who are your true fans and who sticks up for you? Like all these people that was attacking us about that, and then the message they like to put out across that social media is just, man, they're just like, they're such grifters. I think a majority of them are fake because you just suck Trump's dick 24/7. It's like, y'all cannot criticize that man not once. You can't point out something he did wrong. They always posting these memes. Oh, Trump was right again. I was like, man, you're just doing this for to go to Trump parties or at Mar-a-Lago or something like that.
Yeah, I really pissed him off when I posted that Trump meme. It looked like George Bush, but had Trump's hair.
They
freaking lost it.
Dude, it was a joke. I was like, it's a joke. Right. Well, you can't even joke about that. About the man.
No, but like, okay, so that's my point. And I saw that and I go, I knew what happened. I'm like, it's either an intern or an employee posted it, or B, there's like some contract that they had, and they had like some lobbying contract. I lobby for the GOP and stuff myself. Sometimes I'm like, you know, hey, like sometimes, you know, I voted for Trump. I'm trying to support him. I'm trying to work with him. Sometimes, you know, I'll have to like help get policies passed or things pushed. I'm like, you know, I do wish that this, you know, budget or this thing would be different. But in the end, you know, I'm going to at least fight for the budget to be the best that it can be or something. You know, I'm going to fight for it to actually, you know, represent us. Even if in an ideal world, I would have a different choice for this. I got to work with what I've got, and I'm going to do the best I can. And sometimes you end up just promoting things to help, you know, get shit done in the government and actually help, you know, get you know, politicians' point across. We're not trying to lose. We don't want Trump to fail. And I think people think, my opinion is this. I think people want you guys to look bad. They wanted to smear you guys, not because they care about your reputation, not because they think you're grifters, but I've seen this with everyone. If you speak out against Israeli occupation and control, they will try to ruin your reputation and make you seem like you're a bad person or dishonest so that people don't listen to your opinions on Israel.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that these people that have dual citizenship with Israel, these are foreign agents. We're occupied by another government, a foreign government, and people don't realize that. That's a huge conflict of interest if you're America First. You can't have dual citizens. I hate it when we allow immigrants to come in our country and run for office and get elected. You should be an American-born citizen if you're going to run for any elected position in office in this country. No, but look at that one lady. Where's she from? Somali? Ilhan
Omar.
That shouldn't happen in America.
Yeah, women.
You can live here.
Women having freedom.
Find a job. But within our government,
no, I don't want a bunch of Somali immigrants dropped off in Minnesota, like 80,000 of them bitches.
Yeah, that's how she got elected.
Yeah,
in her district. That's who lives there. Because I did comedy shows there. I remember we went to the mall. I was like, holy shit.
All you see is Somalians.
Yeah, they were dressed just like that picture you got up. I was like, oh, that's how she got elected.
Yeah, when I went to Minnesota, I want to see Minnesotans. I don't see a foreign country when I go to Minnesota. That's the only reason why she got elected. Democrats did that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, that's I don't think people understand. You know, our founding fathers, whether people like it or not, you know, they knew what's going to happen. If you bring in a culture is the identity of its country, right? And the culture is an ethnicity. And so, look, the point is like we still had a hard time integrating blacks after slavery. I mean, look at them. I mean, it's if you're a
Still
decent
fucked
black
up.
guy, yeah, you don't even want to live around your own people. So, the reality is like, so what? We couldn't get blacks integrated,
Yeah.
so we're going to bring in even more people. Australia's the same way. Australia used to be
Right.
one of the safest countries in the world, and now since they let in Somalians, this is not even a joke, they're thinking about banning machetes now. Because they're banning machetes.
No, don't ban the machete. Don't ban the machete. Ban the Somalian.
Yeah.
I had this one. I remember this like they was talking about banning guns.
Yeah.
I said, man, y'all need to ban the guns. Y'all need to ban these Negroes out here. Because like you can ban a gun, right? You can hide that up. You can hide it under a mattress. You can't hide a nigga under a mattress. His feet's gonna be hanging out. His big black dick is gonna be coming out the other side. You're gonna know he's there.
Dude,
We getting banned.
yeah, like
No, it's true. What you brought up, Elisha, like the people we let in, it changes the culture of your country. And without culture, you don't have a country. We shouldn't be letting all these people come in our country, especially people that don't want to be America first. They're going to ruin everything for everybody. This place is going to turn into the very same places they're fleeing from.
That guy running for mayor in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so is he going to run against
Eric Adams.
Eric Adams now?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
yeah.
Yep.
So you got
I kind of want I want Eric Adams to win because he's actually helping ICE
Right.
get the illegals out of his
Yeah.
city. So he's came to a census. So he's probably like a moderate,
Yeah.
right? But it'd be interesting to see if that Muslim does win and see what he does to that city.
Yeah.
He's going to destroy that city.
Right.
Well, it's not even just destroyed. It's like I don't like also conservatives. I've noticed, like Vivek was like, forget about New York if you don't want a Muslim. Come to Ohio where you might get a Indian governor who worships demons. It's like that's what he literally said. He's like, come here, I'm gonna be the governor. It's like, bro, I don't Pakistanis, Indians. This is the whole problem. Also, Vivek, put your shoes back on. You
Yeah,
know what I
no
mean?
shoes, no problem.
Why do you have your shoes off in interviews? That's some weird shit. But also, it's like we live in this culture where it's like a joke. Yeah, it's like, where do I want to live? Shit ass Ohio. No offense to Ohio, where I have an Indian demon guy, or do I want to be around like a communist Muslim and get killed by a crack addict? What if there was a different option, which was like a white country, where like we didn't have this stuff?
Yeah.
And, is that bad? Is that a bad thing to want?
I hate to say it. Like
I live in a white neighborhood.
yeah.
And that was by choice.
I mean, I hate to point it like it's a race thing, but the evidence is there. Like when white countries, like our founding fathers, when they came here, that if those men were brilliant, the things they came out in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, man, if it wasn't for that piece of paper, we wouldn't have a country right now. But thank God for that. But anyways, like the people that come in our country, especially whether they're from Africa, regardless of their skin color, you just need to look at that culture of that country. If that culture of that country doesn't, if it's not, what's the word I'm looking for?
Compatible.
If it's not compatible for the United States, we shouldn't let these people come in our country. Like the South Africaners that they're letting in this country. Yeah. They came here, those immigrants that was fleeing, being persecuted because they are white farmers. They came here waving an American flag.
Yeah.
They wanted to be America first. They wanted to be Americans, United States citizens. Majority of these people from Africa and all over the world, regardless of their skin color, they don't want that. They just here for a handout.
They just here to be a leech.
They just want a job. They don't care about America. So why do we let these people in?
I remember my wife was getting her citizenship, and then Trump was the president back then, and he came up and gave a speech to all the people who was getting their citizenship.
Yeah,
it was a bunch of people from Africa, Somalis. It was a bunch of immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. And they started booing.
Yeah,
and I was sitting there with my wife. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Dude,
why are you
real talk?
President of real talk.
They just became
real
citizens,
that's
and
crazy.
They're booing our president.
Yeah, the president's Trump comes up there to congratulate them, and they're booing.
Dude, listen, even worse, in the riots. So I just went and covered the riots in LA. And what's kind of crazy is back in the day,
the Mexican riots.
Yeah,
don't call them riots. It's the Mexican riots.
they call
That's
it right.
Exactly what it is.
They call it
Mexican riots.
Instead of the speakeasy, they call it the speakeasy because it's the secret thing that no one wants to talk about. But I'll leave that. I'll leave the slurs. But Yeah, it was literally a bunch of fat Mexicans, you know, eating their chicharron, hanging out. Just they were literally making the streets of LA as dysfunctional as their front yards. You know, these people don't take care of their front yards. I don't know why. They can take care of everyone else
Front
except
yards
for their
look
own.
crazy.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
it was crazy. Now here's the deal. You say it was a Mexican rights. When I was there was a couple white people that were in front of the city hall with the U.S. Marine Corps. You know, you've seen all the videos, and there was guys on bullhorns pointing to the white people in the crowd and saying, "You're the problem. You're the problem." And they were trying to make it a race war against whites. A couple people were like getting in the way, but you could see like people would walk up to me and be like, "What are you doing here? Because you know, why do you support us?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm Argentinian, sir. Hello, it's me. I'm Argentinian." There really is this anti-white hatred, and I think that people are denying it, but you guys see it. They come here, and then like this guy Zamani or whatever his name is, Zohan Mamdani, they go, I want to change the country to something that resembles my home. I want to destroy this nation, and that's why we can't let them in. It's not because of their skin color, which would be based if that's why we didn't let them in, but the reason why we don't let them in is because
Elijah,
of their culture.
If we looked at skin color, it would make it a lot easier.
That's what I'm saying. It's like brown paper bag. If you're lighter than this, they used to have a test.
He's white.
I'm kidding. I'm
Let
kidding.
him in. He's white. Black. No, tell him no. We're full. Get the fuck out of here. Where are we gonna go? I was born here. I'm American citizen.
Hey,
They can't ship me away.
you get to stay in the ethno state. You guys get 2 free passes
Yeah.
to the ethno state. You just got to do blackface on demand whenever a podcast needs you. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's all I gotta do?
Yeah.
I don't get shipped back to Africa?
Hey,
Sign me up for every Mondays and Tuesdays.
dude, real fast. I know you guys got to go, but I wanted to say, you know, just to give Crowder some credit because I know Gerald, you know, finds my clips and stuff too. Is look, I'm not saying that Crowder's going to clarify. I'm not saying Crowder, you know, is in love with Israel. He didn't say there aren't people that are obsessed with Israel. I know that he gave a good, you know, diatribe about the balance. I just said that there's something about them, like, you know, not wanting to acknowledge the reality of how bad the situation is of Israel controlling us. And the Hodge Twins are only just saying that, yeah, it's because they're evangelicals, and a lot of evangelicals, they just believe they're the chosen people. They don't realize that we're the chosen people, because it's kind of like sad. It's like, well, if they're the chosen people, then why would I even be a Christian? Why would I even accept Jesus? Right. If the blood is more for them and they're more special than me, then there's like kind of cheapens the blood of Christ. And I think that's what a lot of us see. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Last thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of evangelicals, Christians don't even understand or don't even aware of that Judaism doesn't accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. It's like a pagan religion. And the thing about Stephen Crowder and the things he's going after, I think mainly he was attacking Candace because they've been going back and forth. Because Candace, when he really went hard on him when he was going through his things with his wife. Yeah. So I think there's something personal going between those two. Yeah. And I think it might maybe he's lumping everybody else that has the same opinions. I don't know what's really going on with that. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with that. Because she really put him on blast when that was going on. Right. And a lot of the information she was putting out there wasn't true. Yeah. It was just going through a dirty divorce. And I think he's holding a grudge against her. Yeah. Because I don't see why those two can't get along. Yeah,
well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Tucker too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He came after Tucker, though, which is like, you know, they're calling him Tucker Catarlson now or something like that, right?
Dude, they're doing the same thing Democrats did. Russia.
Yeah.
It's like just Qatari because of some dumb, stupid plane. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And how can you attack Tucker Carlson? The things he did.
He lost his job standing up for Trump and the January 6ers.
Yeah.
How can you go against him?
Yeah. That's hard. Anybody attacking Tucker. It's weird.
Yeah, What about Mark Levin though? I I that guy.
Oh, he's a Jew. That damn Jew lost his damn mind. He's the stereotypical Jew. He is the stereotypical Jew. That dude, if we went to war for Iran and put troops on the ground, that dude be sitting there like, oh, I'm fitting a come. I'm gonna bust my nuts all over this damn TV.
Dude, I used to work with him. I used to work with him, and and I used to go on his show, and I was told I had once brought up on one of my own shows, I didn't know why Zionist organizations were sponsoring CPAC, this is back in like 2021. I brought this up, and I was told by people, hey, Mark Levin really doesn't like. There's some board meeting about it, and they don't like that you're bringing up like questioning why there's Zionist influence in the country. At the time, I didn't know Mark Levin was. I didn't know, right? I didn't know that he was who he is, and then I just look at the last name, and then I go, oh. That's all you do now.
I read a few of his books.
Dead giveaway his last name.
Yeah, I was not hip to this Jewish supremacy in that country for the longest. I read a few of his books, and then I was like, and I was arguing about Zionism, and then he came in. I was like, and I was like, man, I thought this guy was smart. And then the guy said, you didn't know he was a Jew?
Damn, that's crazy.
I mean, look at his face. I read a few of his books. Yeah. And then what's his name? Hannity? Every time he brings Levin on his show, he says the great Mark Levin. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Hey, did you hear Tucker said? You hear what Tucker said about that? You hear what Tucker said?
What did he say?
He said when he was on Bannon's War Room recently, he was like, Levin has this weird like relationship where he has this like control over Hannity, and he said it's always been kind of weird, and that like he doesn't really know how to explain it, and like. That's like, how women are impressionable. If you're banging a hot chick or whatever, she like forms to your opinions, right? And she thinks you're like a god. Right, maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe there's like a little bit of like, maybe there's like a big fat guy bone fest going on at Fox. Who knows?
It's kind of like in his Jewish code in him.
If it's circumcised, then it's okay. That's what they say, right? So there you go. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Oh, he's part of the CIA? Oh, he had a CIA badge on? That's crazy. All right, okay. Look, the proof's of the pudding. I want to say, guys, I know you guys are real busy. You guys got a lot of stuff going on. I appreciate you guys coming on for the segment. It's been fantastic. And for people that people know you guys, but what are you guys plugging right now? What are you guys trying to promote for people to follow you? Is it your YouTube, your X? Where should people follow you?
Fuck it, I don't care. I mean, you can find it.
Those are some rich ass blacks right there, man. That's called money.
Qatari buddy. Qatari buddy.
YouTube. They can find us on YouTube, Conservative Twins, Facebook, The Hodge Twins, Twitter, Hodge Twins, Instagram, Hodge Twins. Just Google Hodge Twins, you'll find us.
Yeah. But don't go to black.com and type in Hodge Twins because you'll see Bonnie Blue's unreleased tape. Bonnie Blue tries Qatari money. It's a double entendre. Well, hey, dude, I appreciate you guys. I'll be out in Vegas sometime in the next couple months as well, so we'll link up and appreciate you guys being around and doing your thing. So thanks for coming on and. Shout out to Crowder. Only love to Crowder on the team. We love you guys. Shout out. Nothing against you. Just we want you to come to the dark side and accept the truth, because the truth will. The truth. Listen to the gay guy.
Dark side.
Listen to the gay guy from LA and the two blacks. That's who you should follow. Appreciate you guys.
Blacks.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too.
I like how they're like twins and they said it at the same time. You too.
Synchronized.
They're always good. Okay, a couple of the super chats came in. Sane Millennial sent $5 for an air horn on YouTube. We are monetized now on YouTube for the first time in a long time. Said, congrats on being monetized. I love the Hodge Twins too. Great guests. Yeah, we do too. As well as the Spec 1234 said $5 for a air horn there. Said, your opinion of Stephen is wrong. I watched his episode yesterday, and today he pointed out Ted Cruz and others are more loyal to Israel. He's not a shill. I didn't think I used the word shill, like that he is a shill. I'm saying shilling for that, or like the people that don't know how to just like let it go. You know what I mean? It's kind of like an ex that wronged you, and then you still end up defending them to people. Like, dude, she's not that bad, bro. Like, just trust me. Like, she's a horrible. She's not that bad. It's like, hey, drop the bitch. Drop her. That was cool though. And some people said he's definitely not wrong. And then someone said, don't come here with facts. The Spec also said, at least not to the level you're implying anyway. That's fair. I've known to not always be 100% correct. That being said, some other super chats as well. We already read Homer J. Fuentes. Mavdick 1996 says, the Hodge Twins are my favorite black white supremacists. HHWFP01. or O/. Noah S99 said $5 for the air horn. Does Hennessy like Imagine Dragons?
Don't listen to much of them. I actually listen to a lot of Christian music, but I've heard a few of their songs. But yeah, mostly Christian music.
Excellent. Also, some other super chats here. We got Bloodshot 567 said, "Can you ask the Hodge Twins if they're willing to invite Lucas Gage on their show?" Yeah, I'll text them. It would be, you would want to have Mike text their producer because like they don't plan their stuff. Yeah, you'll ask him. Yeah, okay, he'll ask him. Some other super chats. Down to Earth $2 said, "Q for the Hodge Twins. How much longer are they going to be a part of Mug Club? I noticed Crowder quit name dropping them. His dishonesty about the Jew influence is us really turn me off. I'm not gonna." Someone said J Proof. I'm not gonna ask him that. It's like, hey, why don't you guys ruin your relationships with someone? I didn't know they were part of Mug Club, and I'm having them talk about Crowder. That's actually hilarious. By the way, too, this show's not an attack on Crowder. Like, I one of the things that's always bothered me is it's kind of like I had a good relationship with them, and I understand when Crowder was at Blaze why he wouldn't have me on because I was employee of the month there, so people are jealous. They don't want to have me on because I would upstage them. That's that's the only reason. No, but I understand that. But then like now it's like I think after all the bullshit when people turned on him publicly, I get it because I got kind of PTSD too. When my friends turned on me, no, I'm just saying a lot of people turned on him. You don't know who you can trust, and you think people might be trying to like come and like cause problems. I like Crowder, and I would love to have like real conversations and discuss what's going on. And for lack of better words, just to like be able to just like I think it would really help his reputation and stuff if he had more people on that were from our camp, including the Hodge Twins.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If more establishment people had us on, I don't know why they just stopped like inviting anyone who kind of thinks like me or thinks like this. They sort of like won't have us on anymore. And it's the only thing that changed is the way one topic, really,
Yeah, it's going against pretty much what they're pushing for. But it looks like Noah has a thing for me here. Maybe it's a sports jacket or something. I'm not sure, but he's trying to think of doing things to me in the next super chat. I don't even know if we could say it.
Let's actually we'll read it in a second. By the way, if you're watching on Rumble, make sure that you please subscribe to our new YouTube channel. It's in there. We just got monetized today. A lot of you guys don't want to make a Rumble account to super chat, but you already have a Google account, so it's easy to kind of like get your questions in. Tender Bearline also said Hennessy is not the only black guy on Rift TV anymore.
Look at that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Real talk though, black people really do love your last name.
I'm in every rap song. Anytime I get customer service, if a black person's on the other line, they get all excited. And then when we go to the airport, they're asking me if I was part of the family of the original. And it's like, no.
I said to start taking it and then take like tips from them. Just ask them, I have $5 to help us get the new secret recipe out.
Yeah.
Like, if I raise enough money, we'll get a new secret recipe. Ask them for $100. By the way, Fly Eli sent $1 to have us read a very racist chat. Honestly, I've told you guys, like, if you're going to ask us to read something that's like potentially like damaging, you got to send at least like $20. You know what I mean? Like for $1, it's like, hey, can you sing
$1? No way. $20? All right, we'll do whatever.
Well, like you know what I mean.
Go.
If we're gonna make a risk here and say something on the channel here, got to at least make it. You got to at least do what APAC doesn't.
We got to make Joey edit these things, so we got to have a reason.
Noah S999 said, "Imagine dragging these nuts on your face." That's
you see that, huh? I was wondering where he was going with the Imagine Dragons thing. I'm like, wow, that's pretty freaking random. I don't know what this guy's trying to do. And I'm over here like, yeah, no, I listen to Christian music, and Christian music's great.
And he's like ball slapping.
You know what I want to do to your chin, boy? It's like,
oh man, it's true. Move it up with Van Man. vanman.shop/Elijah. I literally was like, hey, I knew this episode, even though Rift is obviously much more collegiate and a little more like educated than previous shows that I've run. It's actually a little more in line with You Are Here and what we used to do in terms of like the level of conversation. I just don't dress up as much because I had time then. I didn't have to sit at a desk and I could dress up and stuff. Very, very popular at the conning shows, putting on outfits, and they love the guys to dress up. But that being said, don't forget, guys, as we transition to our next story, don't forget to check out Man's Edge. Imagine dragging this man's edge across his face. You know what I mean? No, Man's Edge is one of the only ways that you can naturally boost your testosterone levels in your body without having to get an injection. All of you guys know that, your libido, how hard your boners are, how many rounds you can go in bed, your grit, your horniness, all this stuff is directly related to your testosterone levels. Now, many of you don't know your levels are dangerously low, and you can get TRT and inject it into your butt, and that's fine, and a lot of people do that. But if you want to actually get your levels up, you need to take fenugreek, NO2, IGF, these kind of natural ingredients that can boost your testosterone 46%, get your energy back, your vitality back. But you've got to use this. Why? Because when you take it orally, you end up losing a lot in the degradation of your digestive system. But when you take right now this sublingual liquid, it has a carbon delivery system that is patented by Neutronics Labs. You get 98% absorption, and so you actually get the full boost for your testosterone, and you get your manhood back. So pick up Man's Edge again, ElijahIGF1.com, promo code Elijah. It's buy one, get one free with auto ship. Buy one, get one free. So you get 2 bottles for the price of one, plus with my code right there, you get an additional 10% off. So at cost, 2 bottles, 60% off. Absolutely amazing. And everyone asks me, why do they sell it at cost? It's because they don't make money, but they know you're going to keep buying it. So then they know they'll make money eventually. They're a business, but the product works that well. Make sure you check it out at ElijahIGF1.com. Also a reminder, you can get their Sleep Miracle Plus. I'm putting this in my pocket because I still haven't tried this. People have, and I need to actually try this for once because I want to try it. All right. Going down here and continuing on, it is interesting. Somebody else who's in hot water, we're talking about people who are in hot water, Matt Gaetz, when is he not, actually made a statement, said that Israel doesn't want peace. That's kind of a weird statement.
It's kind of true. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you on that. I mean, they keep dragging us in. They want peace to the point where it's they control everything in the Middle East, and it's easier to grow their nation. So,
Simon Jones also said, how did you get monetized on YouTube? You didn't have to do anything you're ashamed of. No, what I actually had to do was destroy all my shows, shut down my main YouTube channel, start from scratch in the middle of my career, and gamble on starting a whole new channel. And thankfully, shout out to our investors who have made that possible. Honestly, shout out. And then shout out. Literally, there are people who believe in the mission here at Rift. They believe in what we're doing about not being controlled by foreign nations. And so we have, like, American people who invest and care about us. They do have dual citizenships to Qatar, but other than that, there's nothing weird about them. Check this out. Here is Matt Gaetz dressed up as a corpse, talking about that's the wrong. You're on the wrong split, sir. We'll talk about this. Check this out. What's up? You don't have it set up? It's okay. All right, so we're not doing that. Then there he is. All right, it's kind of moving along here. I guess we don't have that currently. So check that out and see what you can do. But most importantly, did our producer just leave and it's like, yeah, what's going on there? That is not the correct. None of that's correct. Yeah. Just bring that in. In a moment here, we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz. I do think it's funny that Matt Gaetz, you know why he lost Attorney General? He lost Attorney General because he didn't take any money from AIPAC. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think Bernie Sanders took no money, right, from AIPAC as well. Thomas Massey hasn't taken money. And anybody else hasn't taken money? I think Brandon Gill took like $50 or something like that, right? $12. Yeah. They bought him a coffee. Imagine that. Your whole world's I like Brandon, but it's like someone buys you a coffee. You're like, wait a second, who do you work for? AIPAC, damn it. AIPAC probably bought me stuff, honestly, because I had an AIPAC handler in CPAC. And he bought me some food. He was a nice guy. Were you able to get that going there? All right, go ahead and press BRB and let me fix that for you. We'll be right back. We're just going to switch the stuff out from that interview.
Right.
Honestly, there's so many brown people involved in the back end of this show. No wonder things don't work. Honestly, is this not
I was like your only
statement?
white employee, but from the chat, I'm black too. So I guess you're by yourself on this one, buddy.
All these Hispanic people, and you're just
we was kings.
It is crazy. We got this. What is going on here? This is the most Hispanic crew in the entire world. Someone even said that. They were like, so what is Rift? And I was like, it's basically a Hispanic employment program. It's like a Cuban immigrants welcome center. That's like what we are, honestly. Even I think though Jordan Conradson coming on, Conradson early life check, pretty sure that's we checks out. I think we're fine. So Matt Gaetz actually warned about this. Listen to what he had to say.
Israel doesn't want peace. They don't merely want Iran to denuclearize. If Trump is right and key nuclear sites have been destroyed, what is Israel still fighting for? Regime change, obviously. We told you that from the beginning. That's what this is all about to Israel. And it isn't regime change for the sake of turning Iran into a long nation-building exercise like Iraq. Israeli elites believe they are better positioned in global markets if places like Dubai, Doha, Abu Dhabi, and Riyadh are smothered in tens of millions of war refugees. They want these rich Muslim markets to look at skies full of missiles, not a future of opportunity. I think it's that simple. This is a gut check moment for Israeli Prime Minister and perennial war advocate Bibi Netanyahu. Will he bend to Trump's demands for peace? Or will he continue his air bombing campaign to decapitate the regime of Iran?
Okay, this is actually more of a question I have for you of what you think about this. So, if Matt Gaetz wasn't a previous congressman as popular as he was, he would never be allowed to say this on OAN.
Yeah.
Okay, I know a few of their hosts. I can't say anything else after that. Now I said it. I just said their hosts. But anyway, their hosts love their jobs. That's all I'm going to say. However, I know like all networks, they're restricted from, expressing all their viewpoints, right? And those viewpoints are the viewpoints that Matt Gaetz is talking about. So it is interesting. Like most right-wingers in media hold pretty similar views to myself, to Candace. They kind of all think the same. Because if your job is knowing information, knowledge about the right wing, you typically think the right way. However, people say then everyone's cucked. People aren't talking about the truth because they're not brave. The reality is they will get fired if they talk about this nation, these people, and this topic. People ask why we're talking about it all the time. That's all that's in the news right now. We're going to get into the crucifixion story, which also involves the same group of people. Like it's basically the whole news is like black crime, Israel's causing problem in the world, and there's economic problems thanks to Jewish bankers. That's like the whole world's problems, right? Pretty much it. And then you go around and it's like, oh, well, what about the Muslims in Europe? Well, why are they displaced? Why are they there? What wars were we fighting in Libya, in Egypt, in Yemen? What was going on? Syria. What displaced these people? Oh, it was their wars too.
Who runs majority of the NGOs? It's the same thing. Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about it. But like he's saying this, hey, look, these people are supremacists. It's narcissistic behavior. They're making decisions that are hurting all of our Western countries because all they care about is themselves and their nation. And they think we should care more about them too. And people like Matt are saying, you know what? I didn't take your money, so you can't control me. But they try to take him down with all those accusations.
Yeah, no, they did. That's why they didn't want him to be in office. They knew if he was in office, he would have gave them pushback, and he wasn't just going to go on their bankroll and just be easily controlled. And that's what we see a lot of these newscasters is just the fear of actually speaking the truth, to say what's going on with anything that has to do with Israel, and to speak against any of the military complex. I mean, you've seen what happened to Tucker. Tucker was on Fox. He started talking about Ukraine and other things, and then next thing you know, he got booted off as well. So, yeah, they scare these people into not saying anything, and I give shout out to Matt Gaetz for actually speaking up and pushing against it because, unfortunately, as you said, this is not what we want to talk about every day. This is not what we want to be doing every day, but it keeps leading us to the same place. The road always ends up at the same location. So we end up, that's why here at Rift, we do talk about these topics that many find controversial or even scared to speak on. The good thing is if you fire me, I'm not getting paid anyway in this place. So, I really, either way, I'll be okay.
Dude, some people get paid and don't even work here. Yeah. Some that don't even...
I called that out on a different show.
Oh man, dude, remind me. I have to tell you something really funny about that after. Like, actually, like you might actually laugh because there's not a lot of things to joke about. But also, this show too, I was like, hey, we got to get more super chats going. We got another super chat from Noah S99 said, Elijah, I remember you saying you wanted to move to Massachusetts coastal town. What towns have you been to? Have you heard of Segunda? No, I've been to Massachusetts only briefly, several times, but I don't know where I went. I just drove through and I'd stopped in some cities as I went on an East Coast trip twice. But I'd love to go back. And, in the future, if you guys want to host events, we want to do some Rift events in the future. And I have somebody who might fund them too, which is kind of cool, who might want to come in and make that happen. Also, a couple other super chats here on YouTube. Nolo Bowtie said, been using the Van Man deodorant. It's pretty good. Which is pretty good. You use it too, right? It's pretty good. Also, our first $50 YouTube super chat tonight.
Yes.
Let's go. Where's the confetti? Where's the confetti?
Hey. There it is.
We got to get some more sound effects for $50 super chats. He said, well. well. In the future, I appreciate that. That's good stuff, and you guys are there. Also, what's kind of cool is I told you guys YouTube is going to be the future. Also, No S99 said, "Sug under these nuts."
He's on fire today.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. It's true. He's doing good.
Mhm.
We got twice.
Yeah. Yeah, they're coming in, man.
That's
Hey,
almost
if they're
as good as the
paying,
Nick
I don't
Hurd.
care. Keep
Happy
going.
birthday, Nick Hurd.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but that's so good. So appreciate you guys. And by the way, the super chats and stuff, this actually is really going to support the show. I told people by being on YouTube, like, you don't understand, guys. I used to support Slightly Offensive, like literally just off of like ad revenue and big tech revenue. Like, it used to make a lot of money. And I mean by like a lot of money, it's like these people, you know, these like YouTubers and stuff, they're very rich and they talk about like they're patriotic. You know why they're afraid to talk? Because they love money and they're very wealthy. Like, you don't know how wealthy these people are. Like, some people actually pay their staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. Didn't see that one coming.
I know.
Yeah, I need to talk to the boss about that.
Talk to HR department.
Yeah.
That was smart. After having bad experiences with HR departments, do you know what I thought was weird too? Is that we talked about this before? Conservative companies outsource their HR departments to liberal HR companies, and they have liberals like lesbians and stuff like determining whether people are sexist or whatever. And you're like, what the hell's going on in these companies? Here, if you're not getting slapped in the ass when you walk in, do you really work here, Henny?
No. I mean, a lot of crazy stuff happens in here. If we had an HR department, it would be pretty interesting to see.
What happens to Joey is unfortunate.
Yeah, Joey's more rough. Sometimes I think the intern likes what you do, so that's a different story.
Check that out.
That is good.
Grape Joey. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
I wish we could play that video we got from one of the fans. That was like a great video, but it was like AI generated of Joey.
Someone else said this seems like a fun job. You know what? You would think it. You would think it's a fun job, but you know what's crazy?
You gotta get paid for it to be a job.
Yeah. You gotta get paid. But also, I like, hey, it's me. But no, I was gonna say it actually is a lot of fun. But what's stressful is that it does get really fun. So here's what happens. It's not a joke. Like 2-3 years from now, if we really put our heads down, we really work and things get stable, like once everyone's doing really well and then like you're getting in and you're like having a kick-ass life and you're getting to do this, then it's really fun. But in the beginning, when you're trying to get this stuff running and going and a lot of things aren't working and you have to keep retrying things and you have to really, there's a lot of stress involved in it. Sometimes what ends up happening too is you do a startup, it grows a lot, and then you kind of get self-dependent people leaving, it shrinks, and you get like a really like tight group of people that have been there for years, and then you get this like really nice little core going, and then you sort of like, you just kind of keep going, and the new people come and go on the exterior, but like you get this good internal group, and it's really fun, and you get each other's back, and you help each other out, and you're each other's, baptisms for the kids and everything. You kind of like grow a family in the media world. It's always fun. Like I used to go over to my old CEO's house, stay the night, go hang out with their family, whatever. And even now, like 4th of July, we're all having a massive barbecue together. It's like going to be a ton of fun. We're getting a bunch of fireworks, a bunch of food. I got an Airbnb. We got a sauna. We got a little pool. We got a jacuzzi. We're going to be doing some really good cigars, probably like at least 2 or 3 cigars that day. Probably drinking a couple beers, maybe. Perhaps a couple, maybe 20. No, we decided no shots. No shots on...
no shots.
No shots.
Yeah.
That's really just me talking to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No shots, dude. All right, that being said, someone else... I'm just kind of hanging out with the chat here in the end because I'm just happy. It's like a monetization celebration here. Someone also said in the chat here, win Rift TV. And someone said, YouTube is better than Rumble. It's stupid over there. Listen, the reason why YouTube is also the future is like, we're like averaging a few hundred like live viewers on a channel with only like 4,000 subs, and we just hit 4,000. My point is that like back in the day on YouTube before I got hit, we could get 10 to 15,000 live viewers really easily on YouTube, but then they delete you. And then Rumble, it's like, unless you have a cult following that like tunes in for you, people usually watch casual shows like this can't find you anymore. And then people just think you stop producing on YouTube. And now that people are finding out we're back on YouTube, we're building the audience. But like having a 300 live viewers with only 4,000 subs is like incredible. Imagine if you had 500,000 subs, that would be like 30,000 live viewers. So it's actually pretty incredible to see the amount of people that are watching and tuning in. I mean, we have episodes with 30,000 views already on YouTube with just a couple thousand subs. So you guys are like actually supporting. Make sure that you go follow over there. I'm really excited. This is a celebratory night. Are you excited to be back on YouTube?
I'm excited to be back on YouTube. I think this is a great opportunity for us. I know a lot of people have different things that they want to say about YouTube, but YouTube's where the money's at. YouTube's going to help us be able to grow this organization. I know you have a bunch of shows in mind that you want to start getting ready to launch and just really grow this network and bring us to the next level. So I'm excited about it. I think, great things ahead for Rift TV, and I'm just glad to be a part of the ride.
Yeah, and then by the way, a couple of the comments here, just reading it out. Joe DeTerrible said, I love this show. Not gonna lie, the chemistry is organic. A lot of other shows, it's so fake with nerds afraid to call it Israel. It's true though. You watch other shows and it's just like, oh man, I can't. What's going on in our country? What's happening here? And you're like, it's Jewish people. I mean, like, it's kind of what's going on here. But not all of them. You know what I mean?
No, not all.
It's not all of them. But but there are some, and it's not all Jewish people. It's not only Jewish people. There's a lot of other people who are doing things too. There's just some groups. It's like the crime stats. Everybody knows that all races commit crime, but like it is fair to say that you don't want to go to a Carnival cruise voluntarily because you're likely to be a victim of crime. There's certain stereotypes that exist. And I think it's fair to say that. And it, of course, it's not all people who drive Nissan Altimas are bad, right?
Yeah, it's true.
What came first?
Yeah,
the hood rat or the Altima? Right?
That's a big question.
No, but I appreciate those of you guys that are around. Someone also said, is Elijah on drugs tonight or something? That's a question. That's a good question. Have I been on drugs in the recent past? No comment. But not tonight. No, I haven't been on drugs on this show.
In the past 24 hours?
In the past 14 minutes. No, yeah. Since I sobered up. No, I haven't been on drugs on the show. I don't think, or like any time since I've like,
not since I've known you, no.
Yeah, I think, but I did used to get high sometimes and do shows like Baked, at Blaze, but that's different because I'd just be like, Tom McDonald, that song's really great. That was crazy. A couple people said, I'm on drugs tonight. Rich Potato said, Elijah, looking extra cute tonight. Thank you so much. I'm really blushing here. And someone said, so this show is casual, ? Yeah, tonight's just a casual show or whatever. The Fascist Network said, this is probably the most mainstream show I watch. Got some good guests and stuff. It's good to hear. Really appreciate it. A few of you others who are in the chat said, I watch everything on Rumble if I can. All the best shows are on Rumble. Another $5 super chat air horn from Noah S99 said, thank you for laughing at my cursed ligmas. I'm celebrating with some pudding. I wonder where this is going to go. Thank you for that.
I wonder where he's going to put in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and someone said, someone said drugs are on him anyway. Yeah, but a couple of the other chats here from the YouTube. I actually mainly watch you on Rumble, Elijah, but as I was driving, this app's easier to listen to while driving. Yep. And then someone said also, Elijah's into some freaky stuff. Be careful. Believe it or not, you would think I'm into some freaky stuff, but actually pretty vanilla in a lot of ways,
Yeah. I don't know. I'll ask the intern.
Punish Mav sent $2 at Henny. What is your ethnicity and ethnicities?
Irish, Italian, and French.
Amazing. All right, you guys, so let me tell you about something kind of cool. So we kind of finishing the show today with some chat, and usually when it's like a slow news day, there's not a ton of stuff, we'll try to like do the last 20, 30 minutes of the show just interacting with you guys, talking. This is what I always used to do. This was my vision, was to be able to be on YouTube monetized. We could talk to you guys, do chats, some free chats. But if you want to invest in a permanent super chat, head over to Locals at ElijahSchaefer.locals.com. It is a way that you can join. If you're on Rumble, you can hit the join button. If you're on YouTube, let me just throw the link there as well to the Locals channel. But you can join for free. And right now we're not charging you or anything to join. If you want to become a paid member, it really helped the show out a lot because we do bring out a lot of contributors and stuff. And to be completely honest, I do pay for that stuff out of pocket. I've been paying for it out of pocket. Just to kind of get the Rift started, it's cost like a lot of money. It cost several $100,000 to launch this stuff and get it going. And some months, it'll be $10,000 more to like fly guests out and do the whole thing. So it can be as much as $20,000 a month for travel and to do stuff to bring people out. It gets really expensive. And your guys' support makes it happen, and we don't charge you to watch the show. It's not behind a paywall. We appreciate you guys supporting. So if you want to give back and you want to go on, we'll also interact and take your questions on there. So you don't actually have to pay on Rumble. You can buy super chats on Locals, but you don't have to. We'll just take your questions for free, interact. So for the last like 15, 20 minutes of the show, we're going to be talking about some really crazy stuff, some funny stuff, only on Locals. We'll be right back. To those of you guys that are watching, make sure if you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow us. It's so important that you do, especially on Rumble and on YouTube. Turn on the notification bell. It's so easy to do. We're every night during the week at 7 p.m. Also, don't forget that this Sunday, our book club does actually launch. So we will be there this Sunday. You can learn how you can win this. We are reading Where the Right Went Wrong. We've talked about it every night. You got to join the book club. It's really, really interesting. If you're reading it, you'll hear references throughout the show, what we're talking about. It's absolutely fantastic. And you can win this on Sunday by sending a picture of yourself reading the book, watching the show, or doing anything else to Mike.Mendoza@rifttv.com. Remember, it's not therifttv.com, just rifttv.com. That's rfttv.com. Check it out. All right, we'll do a BRB. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, and we'll see you guys over at Locals. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to follow Snowflake, Snowflake_news on X and on Instagram. And you can follow me everywhere else at Elijah Schaefer or Rift